Welcome back to another project. In this project, we are going to create a double landing page. As you can see from the final version of the project, we have two products in one landing page, Apple and Samsung. And when we hover over one product, we see that the size of this landing side is bigger than the other side. And if you go to the other side, we see the opposites. We have a bigger width for this side and a smaller width the other side. And also we have a button that has a beautiful transition and animation. And also we're going to style this project, add some background image to make it more beautiful. In this project, we're going to use JavaScript to add and remove some classes that changes the styling of each site. So we can see this hovering effect in our project. In the next section, we're going to start with the HTML part of our project. So see you in the next section. All right, let's start our project. First, we open the Visual Studio Code. Here we close the Get Started tab, and in the File menu, we click on the Open folder. I would like to create a project as usual in my desktop, but you can create it anywhere you like in your computer. So here we click on the desktop and we click here on the New Folder button to create a new folder. We name the file Double Landing Page, which is the name of our project. We press enter, and here we click on the Select Folder button to start the project inside the folder. Here we close the Get Started tab again, and on the left side in the Explorer section, we create an HTML file. So we right click here and we click on the new file and we name the file index.html. Here on the right side, now we can see our index.html file. We can use an exclamation mark to create an HTML5 boilerplate. So we write an exclamation mark and we click on the first auto suggestion. We can use Alt-C to turn on the word wrap so we can see the code clearly. And here we can see our boilerplate. The first line is the doc type, which tells the browser what version of HTML the page is written in. In our case, we write here HTML only because we are using HTML5. If after the version of HTML5, we don't need to add any numbers or version number. We just need to add HTML here. Then we have the HTML tag, which covers the head tag and the body tag. The lang attribute inside the HTML opening tag sets the language of the page. And in our case, the language is English. Then we have the head tag, which has 3 meta tags and also a title tag. The first meta tag, the chart set attribute inside the first meta tag defines the HTML character encoding, which in our case is UTF-8. UTF-8 is recommended by HTML5 because it nearly contains all the characters and symbols. So the users of the websites won't have any problem seeing our characters and symbols inside our website. Then we have the compatibility meta tag, which tells the Internet Explorer browser to use the most recent rendering engine, which is Edge. Then we have viewport meta tag. The viewport meta tag tells the browser on how to resize the page, and the first one, which has the content attribute, sets the width of the page to the device's screen width. For example, the mobile screen will be smaller than a computer screen. And also we have initial zoom level of the browser, which is set to be 100% as a default. Then we have title tag, which set the title of the page. We can see the browser inside the Visual Studio Code using the live preview extension that we have installed. We just need to right click and we click on not live preview, show preview. Here on the right side, now we can see the browser, which is completely empty, but with the title document. Let's change the title to be the name of our project, which is Double Landing Page. All right. Let's start with the HTML tags inside the body section. First, we need a container to cover everything. We just need to add a div with the class of container. And inside this div, let's close this Explorer so we have more space on the right side. Then inside this container, we have, because we have a double landing page, we have the left side, which is related to the Apple product, and the right side, which is related to the Samsung product. So we should have two divs, one left, one right. So we add a div here with the class of split and also with the class of left. And inside this div, we're going to have a h1 tag just saying Apple, as you can see here. Then we have a button with a class of btn, and inside the button, we just write down buy now. Now, if we accept the auto suggestion, we get the button with the class of btn, which has the buy now inside the button. Let's create another div similar to this one for the Samsung. So we just have a div with a class of split and right instead of left. And inside this, we have h1 tag saying Samsung. Then we have button with a class of btn, and inside would be buy now. So now we have the Apple and Samsung. In the next section, we're going to use CSS to style our project and bring this Apple to the left and the Samsung to the right side. And we're going to add some background image for each of them. So see you in the next section. All right, in the last section, we have finished with the HTML part of our project. In this section, we are going to start styling our project using CSS. First, we need to create a CSS file. So here we use Ctrl-Shift-E to open the Explorer section on the left side, and we right-click here and we click on the new file. We name the file style.css and we press enter. We just bring the file in this tab so we can have the browser on the right side. We close the Explorer section. Before using CSS in our project, we need to add a link to this file within the HTML code. So we go back to the index.html, and just under the title tag, we add a link tag. We just write link, and we choose the third auto suggestion, the one with the CSS. Now we have a link tag with the relationship between the HTML file and the external style sheet. The href attribute defines the destination of the link, and as both files are located at the same directory, we just need to write style.css here. Now we can use CSS in our project. So we save this file using Ctrl-S and we go to style.css. The first place we want to style is the body section. So we just write body here. We open a set of curly braces, and inside this set of curly braces, we remove the default margin and remove the space around the body element. So we just write margin 0. Now we can see that we don't have any margin. Then we can use display flex to bring the items to the center horizontally. We just write display flex. And now we can use justify content center to bring the items to the center horizontally. For bringing the items to the center vertically, we need to first set the height of the body to be 100% of the viewport height. Then we use just align item center to bring the items to the center vertically. So we just write height 100% of the viewport height, and then we use align item center to bring them to the center vertically. Let's use a text align center as well to bring everything and even the inline content to the center. Let's change the font of this Apple and Samsung to impact using font family property. So we just write font family and we choose impact, this one. Now we can see a different font. We use Alt-C to turn on the word wrap so we can see all the code clearly. That was it for the body section. Let's start styling the other parts. Let's style these two split sections, and we just set the width of this two div to 50% and the height to be 100%. So we just write dot split, and we change the width to be 50%, height to be 100%. Yeah, that's it for the split section. Let's bring this Apple to the left side and the Samsung to the right side. We just need to target this left and right. So here we just say split dot left. So we set the we change the position to be absolute, and then we just say left 0 for the Apple, and for the right side, the dot split dot right, we just set the position to be absolute, and we just set the right to be 0. Now we have these two here. Let's set the background color so we can see them better, so we can easier style them. So we just set this background color to pink. As you can see, we have some space at the top. So here in the split section, we just need to write top 0 to bring them all to the top. Let's change the background color of this Samsung section as well. Just say light blue. All right. Let's style this Apple and Samsung, the head1 section here. At the top, we just write H1, and we change the font size to be 100 pixels. So we have a bigger one. It looks bigger here in this browser, but if you open the browser inside the Google Chrome, we don't feel too much big. And also let's style these buttons and make them bigger as well. We target the buttons using this class btn. So just under this H1, we just target the btn, and just first we remove change the background color to be black, change the text color to be white. Now we see. Let's add some padding. We just say 20 pixels top and bottom, and 40 pixels left and right. Let's increase the size of this button, the text in the button. We just say font size, and we set it to be 25 pixels. Let's add some border color. So we just say border. We increase the size of the border to 4 pixels, and we make it solid. So we have a nice white border. Let's change the cursor to be pointer. So when we hover over the buttons, we see a pointing hand. So let's add some hovering effect as well. We can use hover CSS pseudo class to change the color of the buttons when we hover over them. So we just write btn hover, and we change the background color now to white and the color to be black, just the opposite. And also let's add some transitions so we don't see the colors to be changed suddenly. So we just say transition, add just 1 second transition, but not to everything, just to the black background color. So we just write here background color. Now we see a transition in the buttons. Let's style this H1 a little bit more. We just change the color to be, for example, this Alice blue. And also let's add some shadow in the back using backdrop filter. And we just change the brightness to be 50% like this. We can see it inside the browser. That looks very good. Let's increase the size let's increase the distance between the letters. using letter spacing, we just add 4 pixels. That looks better. And let's add some background image to each product. So in the browser, here in the new tab, we search, for example, we just say iPhone, the newest one. Now I'm recording. It's November 2021. We just say iPhone 13. That's the latest product. We just search for the image. We change the tool and the size to be large. And we just choose the apple.com, this one. We go to the website. And here just we right click and we click on copy image address. And we go back to the Visual Studio Code, and inside the left one, which is Apple, we just add a background image and we add a URL function. Inside this, we add a double quote, and inside this double quote, we paste the link using Ctrl-V. Now we can see it in the background, but if you check now, we cannot see the pictures completely. We have to change the background size. So we just change the background size to be cover. This one actually is increase the size of the image, or scale the size of the image as large as possible to fill all the container. So if we go now, we can see that we can see the image completely. Let's add another image for the Samsung one. I think the latest Samsung is Samsung S21, probably, or whatever it is. Just we add Samsung S21. We search for images. We change the tool and size to be large, and we just choose one of them, like this one, or we just go to the Samsung website. I think cannot see any Samsung.com. So we just choose this one. We just click on it. And here we just right click and copy the image address. We go back to the Visual Studio Code and we do the same things here. We just add a background image. We add a URL, and inside instead of double quote, we paste the link. And then we just change the background size to be cover. All right, let's check it inside this here. That's looks fine. When you change the background size to cover, if you change the zoom level of the browser, you see the image is always in the same size. The next things we want to do is to use JavaScript to increase the size of the each site, for example, Apple or Samsung. When we hover over them, we want to increase the size of them to 75% and the other one to 25%. So in the next section, we're going to start adding this functionality using JavaScript. So see you in the next section. All right, in the last section, we have finished styling the website using CSS. In this section, we're going to use JavaScript to add functionality to our project and increase the size of the width of the section that we are hovering over it. Before starting with the JavaScript, the things I want to show you is in the HTML file, we want to add some classes. For example, we want to add or remove some classes to increase and decrease the size of each site. For example, in the container, we add a class of active left, and inside the install.css at the end, we just say if the active left existed, then just for the left side, change the width to be 75%, as you can see here. And if this active left exists, just change the right side, the width to be 25%. So if you go now to the browser, we can see that the Apple side has the width of 75 and the other side is 25. We can see an extra place here. That's because the Samsung is too long, we see here. We can remove this one. You're just adding overflow hidden here. So now if we check, we never see anything extra in the right side. Exactly, we have 25% here and 75% in this side. We can do the same things by just adding, for example, active right and adding the styling here. We just say if the active right exists, just change the left to be the width to be 25% and the right side, the width to be 75%. So now we can see that the right side is bigger than the left side. All right, so let's do this using JavaScript because we cannot add or remove classes by hand. We just need to do it dynamically using JavaScript. So we remove this class. So we have 50% into the left and 50% to the right. And also before doing that one, I wanted this by now always to be at the same line. So let's remove this line wrapping using white space no wrap in the btn. So we just say white space no wrap. So now we see the buttons always, the text to be in the same line. All right. So let's create the JavaScript file. So we open the Explorer section using Ctrl+Shift+E, and we right click here and we click on the new file. We name the file index.js. And before using JavaScript, we must add a link to the JavaScript file within the HTML code. So we go to index.html and just at the end of the body tag here, we add a script tag and we click on the second auto suggestion. As both files, I mean the index.html and index.js are located at the same directory, we just need to write index.js here. All right, we save this file, we close this Explorer section, and we go to the JavaScript. The elements we want to use in JavaScript is this element, left, right, and also the container. We want to add an event listener, add event listener to left and right, and we want to add the class active left or active right to this div with the class of container. So we bring this container first. We just say const container element. We can use the query selector method to return that element with the class of container. So we just write here document.query selector, and inside a set of parentheses we write dot container. We use Alt-Z to turn on the word wrap so we can see all the code. The next things we want to bring is the left element. We just say document.query selector as above, and inside a set of parentheses and a double quote, we just write dot left. We copy this to make the right one as well. So we just write here right and change this left to right as well. So we add the add event listener method to the left side. The add event listener method has two parameters. The first parameter is the event handler. The event handler we want to use is mouse over. It means when the mouse or mouse over or mouse enter, both would be the same. We just say mouse enter, and we add the callback function. So when the mouse over that element, which is the left side, we want to do something. The things we want to do is to add the active left class to the container. So we just say container element dot class list for adding the class, and we use the add method, and the class we want to add is active left. Now when we hover over this section, the width is 75% and the other side is 25%. But when we go the other places, like the other side, we still this width is the same. So we have to remove this class when we leave the place. So we just add another event listener, which is mouse leave, and we trigger another function, and we just remove this active left. We just say class list dot add, and remove, because we want to remove the class. So we just say active left. So if we go to this section, we see that the size is 75. When we go the other side, it goes back to the 50%. Let's do the same things for the right side. So we just say right element dot add event listener. We want to add the mouse enter. We create the callback function, and we just say container elements dot class list, and we add the class active right. So we see it's working, but it's not removing the class. So we need to add another add event listener for removing the class when we leave the place. So we just say mouse leave. We make the function, and we just say counter element dot class list dot remove. The class we want to remove is active right. So when we go to the right side, we see the width is 75% on the right side, and when we go to the left, we see the same thing, the 75% width for the left side. Let's add some transitions so we can see this a little bit more smooth. So we go back to the solid CSS, and just at the end, we add the transition to the left and also to the right. We just say transition on the width, and we want it to take 2 seconds and to be even out. We can see it now here. We can see it better in the browser, actually, because it's bigger. So when we go to the Samsung section, we see the width to be 75%, and the transition is very smooth. It looks very good. Yeah, that was it for our project. I hope you enjoyed and learned many things. So see you in the next project.